All right.
We're back. Take one.
Take one. Hopefully they'll
Of
take.
one, hopefully.
Hopefully. Um, of the Ghibli review series, and this time we're getting a lot more adult themes,
Yeah.
a lot more violence and action, and overall, this is how you adult things, and with Princess Mononoke.
It's getting juicy. This is one of my favorites.
This was definitely one of the better ones I saw, just in terms of story. The other ones I think artistically are better, but this one I think story-wise is the best,
Right.
by far.
Right.
So it opens up very, very, very quickly, gets into it, and goes, here's something that's wrong in the forest. Doesn't say what it is immediately, but goes, there's something massively wrong going on.
It starts with a narrator dialogue.
Yes.
Or monologue.
Yes.
Technically.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I think this is the first.
This is the first time that they do that.
I think maybe only one that they do that, of the ones that we're covering. So that's really interesting.
So it opens up with the dialogue, and it's like there's this thing going on, something is wrong, and then we get this demon that appears and attempts to attack a village.
Right.
Before we get reference to our first protag and our main protag, who comes in and is defending the village, does his best, but then gets attacked by this demon and gets like this ooze mark on him.
Yeah. So the main character comes in, and I guess he fends off the demon, but he gets his arm corrupted.
Yes. And then they go into the fact that, well, you can look for a cure, but if you do, we have to disown you, and you have to do it on your own, and there's nothing we can do to help you. And the village mourns it and all that, because, we're so small as it is. How are we supposed to have the prince come through and make it out of here? And I have to see him go off.
Yeah, and especially because he did it defending their.
Yes.
But he's very stoic about it.
He is very stoic about the whole thing. Yeah, he doesn't even seem to faze him, really. He's just like, I gotta do what I gotta do. And so he goes off to is it the east or the west? He goes off to somewhere towards a coastal city. And they find that another town is getting, for lack of a better term, massacred on his journey. And he decides to help them. And this is where we learn that the demon also gives him power.
Yeah. There's a crazy massacre going on, very violent.
Very violent.
And he goes to help them, but
it's an arrow out of the dude's arm.
Pops off. Or the whole arm pops off.
Yeah, he's raising his sword to come down on someone, and he shoots the sword, and apparently there's enough force to tear both his arms off.
Yeah.
Because it's just that powerful.
Yeah, and then he does a head.
And then he does a headshot, and it rips the head clean off.
That's crazy.
Which is absolutely insane, because as of thus far, we don't get violence like that. And then now we're just getting, oh no, we're just going to straight up show you blood and death, because that's what's happening.
Yeah, getting right into there. So he does that, and then he comes across the
monk character.
Yeah.
Who kind of gives him some loose guidance, like, okay, here's where you're at, here's what I know, here's what I can tell you. You want to go to this iron village, and maybe someone there can help you.
Yeah, so at the start, he definitely is kind of like a good guy. I mean, he's like a guiding character.
He's not evil, not yet.
He's definitely not evil.
But he's definitely more neutral, or at least chaotic in some sense, because he's not doing good, but he's for no benefit, but he's doing it. He's like, oh, maybe I'll get something out of this.
Yeah.
So that's when they get to the first meeting of him and the princess, where the wolves are kind of out here all along a riverbed after assaulting a caravan. And they're just kind of there, like it's very unceremoniously. Here's the other character that's going to be relevant.
Yeah. He goes to help some like stranger guys, or he picks them up because they're injured, and he's helping them out. He's by the river, and the wolves and stuff come up. Which maybe they're trying to like cleanse their wounds or something like that.
I think that's what it is. Because the mother spirit was shot at that point
Mhm.
and had blood coming out of her.
Yeah, the mother.
And she does the most metal thing as possible and just like literally starts sucking blood off of it.
Yeah. The
Just spits it out.
Yeah. She just does that.
I think that's
Crazy
metal as all
entrance.
get
I
out.
love that crazy entrance.
And so she's helping clean the wound,
Mhm.
and then they kind of see each other, but not really do anything.
Mhm, yeah.
It's that star-crossed lovers thing of like, oh, she's cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
She's cool. Yeah, they see each other, they lock eyes. I think he maybe tries to talk to them or something like that. But
I think he tries to like wave or something.
yeah, or something like that.
But they never really communicate, or I think the best thing he gets from her is like, go away.
Yeah.
Which is just like, all right, there's your female protag.
There you go.
Go away is your first instance of her.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then but he's helping these guys out, and
who are very severely injured.
Yeah, but they know where the Iron Fortress is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they make a stop in the Magic Forest, and this is where you get the sense that his arm's attached to something. Because his arm acts up after seeing this like otherworldly spirit thing. It's like super deer, for lack of a better word.
Crazy.
Because it has like 100 antlers and it has a weird like goat-like face.
It's very creepy.
It's very
Once
creepy.
again, we're back with the creepy mythical.
Yes.
Which I love that.
But it's a spirit again, at least. So it's the spirit of the forest, and this time it's like super powerful.
I think it's more like a god than a spirit.
Yeah.
It's like a god.
They call it the spirit of the forest, which is like it's like dismissive of how powerful it is.
Right.
So the spirit comes and heals everyone, and then they from there they go back to town.
Yeah. Which also before we go, they were scared of the forest.
Oh, they were terrified of it.
Terrified of this forest. For some reason.
Because apparently no one returns from it?
No one returns from it. Which kind of seems weird because he helped them out. But he's not so kind to everyone. And humans aren't very kind to him, which is a theme anyways.
Yes.
But they get to the Iron Fortress and that's acknowledged. Like they get there and they're like, holy, you came through the forest. Well,
yeah, you saved their people and you came through the forest? That's amazing.
Yeah.
So they make it to the Iron Fortress and because he saved the two people, they seem to be friendly to him almost immediately. They're like,
they are a little suspicious of him. Some of them.
Well, the leader's right hand guy is definitely hyper suspicious. He's like, "How the heck are you alive? How did you make it through that? What's going on?"
I think he's jealous. I think at a certain point, he's definitely.
I feel it's jealousy. Yeah.
But the guy he saved, his wife, comes through, helps out, and she's a boss.
Yes.
Boss bitch.
Yes. She's very awesome, and just is like, hey, you saved my man. I'm here to help you in any way you need. He's like very grateful for it.
Yeah.
So they go onward, and it's just kind of him touring the Iron City, and we find out it's literally it's a city made of iron where they're smithing and forging iron things.
Yeah, guns.
And guns specifically are the specialty.
And then we kind of meet the head of it. What's her? The Iron Lady.
Yes. I have her name somewhere, but she's the head of it. Lady Eboshi. Lady Eboshi, and she's the person in charge and in power. And unlike everyone else who's like a little hesitant with him, she's like, I want to know what the heck you did and how you're doing, because you just came through something that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, she's fairly welcoming, I'll consider, out of a curiosity.
Purely curiosity, though, as we find out.
Once again, badass bitch. Obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm loving the strong female character.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's definitely a lot more. I'm not a damsel in distress. I am the boss.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a lot more appreciated and it's not seen as much, and especially at this time.
Yeah. And she's also, I think she's like, her main force is like all
women,
and she's all about.
It's not women from brothels. She was trying to save them from having to do that kind of stuff.
He's definitely like a good guy. In
that
sense.
Like her morals are definitely somewhat well aligned, at least up in the beginning.
Yeah.
So they make it back to the town. She finds out that the townspeople that were responsible for the demon coming to attack his village because of the guns.
Yeah.
The gun that Lady Eboshi used shot what turned out to be a boar spirit. He got it like super infected and corrupted and became the demon.
Yeah. So he's definitely kind of in the middle. Like he's like part demon, part human, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of in between this conflict of human industry and
Yes.
nature.
Yes.
Which is interesting and will be emphasized later.
And then it's when he finds out that that's what they're doing. He's like, "You are so crazily off base. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be in balance with things, not this far outside, just destroying stuff."
Yeah, but he's not fully antagonizing them. Like
he's not. He's just like, you're doing things wrong.
Yeah, you can definitely see that he's trying to keep the peace. He's trying to make the peace.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then they meet. The princess comes and attacks another caravan, and the prince meets the princess again.
Yeah, the princess.
But after the prince took a bullet for her, literally.
Yeah, and she comes
through his body.
The town. She comes to attack the town.
To try to attack Lady Eboshi.
Yeah, but he defends her.
And
Lady Eboshi.
Yes, he splits up a fight, but he ends up getting shot through and through in the process.
And he doesn't care.
He does not. He just does the badass thing of, I'm shot, I don't care, I'm walking out of here. And he proceeds to walk out of there.
Lots of badass stuff happening. And
like lifts the gate with one arm, even though they said no one can open the gate.
Yeah, you need like 10 people to open the gate or something.
Yep.
Yeah, but he does that.
And they make it out, and then the princess now takes care of him and takes him to the spirit lake thing in the forest. And we get the second sighting of the spirit that comes and presumably heals him this time.
Yeah, and another thing, his mount, the stag, the thing with him.
Yes.
I forget what its name was.
I don't think I have its name because he mentions it, but it's like just a companion character.
Yeah, I think it does have a name. I forget the name.
It does. It's like
I wish I knew.
Ebro or something.
Yeah, but I love that guy.
Yes, he's a good dude.
The Princess Mononoke, she releases him. She's like, "Oh, go. You can be free. You don't have to be attached to this human." But he's like, "Nah." Like he's a loyal steed, and he sticks around as he gets healed by the deer spirit.
Yes. And then, so the princess returns the favor and saves his life that they kind of established earlier. And then this is where he gets the meeting of the other boar spirit and the wolf spirit, and kind of their interactions with each other and what's going on and why is this happening the way it is? What's their intentions?
Yeah.
And we find out that they want to go to war outright. They want to fight.
The boars want to go to war.
They want to fight the humans back because they're destroying the forest for their mining operation.
And I think the wolves, they're obviously against the humans, but they're still a little bit like, don't.
Maybe we shouldn't go full out war.
Don't go full on head on. They're gonna kill you. You're gonna have to do it in little attacks. We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to skirmish them, and the boars are like, no, we're just fighting. We're going in.
Yeah. But the big boar, the leader, is very old, very
and blind.
And blind.
He has to use his nose, which is I think it's a very interesting. Because people always talk about, pigs have a great sense of smell, but you don't see that played in a lot of movies. And this was one of the few ones where it's like, no, he is blind, but his great sense of smell allows him to tell what's going on.
Yeah, so that's cool. And at this point, he's definitely a true leader. He's pretty, he's a good leader.
He's a good leader, yes.
And then I think our main guy, what's his name, by the way? Do we know his name?
The prince's name?
Yeah.
The prince's name is, I have it here. I think I have it here. Maybe I said him as Prince the whole time. I forget his name, actually.
Ashitaka. Ashitaka is his name. I still don't know what the
spirit's name is? Or Lady Eboshi. There's Lady Eboshi, there's Ashitaka, there's Mononoke, there's
Yaku
is
Yaku.
I had to look it up.
Yes. Yes. So Ashitaka, he comes in between
Yes.
the boar and the wolf tribe,
And it's like, no, you don't need to fight. You don't need to fight each other, let alone fight the humans.
Mhm.
It's not going to end well.
Yeah.
And this is where we get a quick cutaway where we find out that the monk's name is Jigo,
Mhm.
and he wants to fight and kill the forest spirit.
Yeah. So we see a little bit more of his true intentions.
And how he's definitely was starting to get something out of it the whole time. And I think he might have known that he had the strength that he could have fought the spirit. But he was like, oh, well, you're not helping me, so I guess I'll just do my own thing.
Yeah.
And kind of go get the spirit myself.
Yeah, yeah. No, he teams up with Lady Uboshi.
Yes.
And to
Literally go hunting.
Yeah, and then he kind of, it's revealed a little later, but I guess we'll just say now, like, he kind of uses her. Like, he tries to use her to do
100%.
dirty work.
100%.
And he also tries, well, actually, we'll get into that later. I'll say that for later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get, so after he's healed, he's kind of hangs with the wolves for a while. And the main wolf spirit comes up to him and is like, all right, you got two options. You either stay here and die, because I'll kill you, or you leave by morning.
Yeah.
And he's not ecstatic about it,
Yeah.
but he's like, all right, I guess I'll leave by morning then.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
He also is, I guess he's kind of trying to get Princess Mononoke out of the wolf tribe. Like,
Yes.
I guess to him, like, which I see that, like, Princess Mononoke is, like, almost convinced that she is a wolf.
Right.
But she's kind of being restrained by that because she's not. She's a human.
Yes.
So she should be
with
him. She should be with him. I feel like she should be with him on the middle ground. Like, because they're both kind of, like, on each side. Like, they're humans. They're both mixed in with the animals, the humans, and stuff like that.
Yep.
So they could both be fighting for the peace, but she's fully on the wolf side.
Yes.
On nature's side.
Yes.
Which is maybe kind of stagnating her, stagnating world peace, whatever.
Yes, it doesn't help the scenario.
Yeah, so
and
he's trying to get
no matter what he does, he tries to help it, but she doesn't help it along either.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where we get into the big conflict happens. This grand battle scene starts to happen, and you see all the tactics that the humans are using. They're using mines. They're using like rock grenades, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, the boars go full on head on in, and then I think Princess Mononoke goes to help them.
Yes.
With some of the wolves.
Yes.
She's like, I can't leave them to just.
Can't let them just die because that's what's going to happen.
So she goes to help them, and then throughout this whole thing, what I was going to mention earlier is that the monk guy, he's actually, I think he's like setting some of the mines to kill Lady Uboshi's people.
Yes.
Like he's trying to kill them both off at the same time.
He's trying to get only what he wants, and that's all he cares about.
Yeah. So you definitely see that greed.
Yes, you see the greed and the selfishness. So the battle's happening around, and then you see this aftermath of the battle. With flashbacks to the quick scenes of like them kicking rock grenades and all this kind of stuff, and it's just, I mean, it is brutal.
It's brutal.
It is a massacre among massacres because there is nothing that's alive.
It's brutal. Ashitaka shows up and like I think he pulls up to like a graveyard area almost.
Oh yeah,
like, with all of them covered and stuff like that, and that's again very dark,
very brutal, very sad. And then he sees this flash of like. He thought he saw one of the spirits that are alive under one of the boars, one of the wolf spirits.
Yeah.
And he goes to help it.
Yeah, the wolf. Yeah.
And he can't do it alone. Even his power is not activating, so he can't lift it all alone.
And no one wants to help him, but
until he realizes that, until he says like, "Hey, turns out you guys are also under attack. The Ironworks is being attacked as well." In parallel with this attack going on.
Right, because he goes to the Iron Fortress first.
Yep.
And then they're being attacked because Lady Uboshi has left.
Yes.
And she's gone hunting for the deer god.
Yep.
And the girls are defending the town, but they're being pushed back.
Yes.
And there's some of the men are still there in the battlefield, and he says, "We need to go back. You guys need to go back to the Iron Fortress.
Yes.
So you need to help me get this wolf right now."
Yeah.
And then the monk guys are like, nah, like, kill that thing or whatever. Yeah. But then the civilian guys beat their ass.
Beat them. Yeah. Oh yeah. Give him a thorough pounding, and then help him.
Yeah.
Like even though they're all terrified, they're like, "Well, he's helped us. We might as well help him."
Yeah.
So they help him and they get the wolf out. And then both of them start running to try and get back to the forest spirit. And they get there and they try and protect it to no avail, though.
Yeah.
Lady Eboshi gets her shot off and hits it. Hits it once. Kind of takes its head off, but not really.
Mhm.
Then hits it a second time. And the second shot is the one that severs the head.
Yeah. So, well, I think first Ashitaka's running to go get. I feel like a lot of his main focus at this point is actually Princess Mononoke. Like,
I
he's not
agree.
inherently going to protect the deer god or whatever, this forest god, but he's going to get Princess Mononoke. And on the way, he's also looking for Lady Uboshi.
Yes.
He runs into her, and he
Yes.
tries to tell her like, "Your fortress is being attacked. Like,
Yeah.
you need to go back."
Yep.
She's like, "Nope,
They'll
I'm
handle
hunting
it.
this thing."
Yep.
And so he keeps going, and then he runs into, like you said, he gets to the deer god,
Mm-hmm.
or the forest god, who's with Princess Mononoke.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he gets shot. His head gets shot off.
Which is, to be fair, talking about the badass of women, that's a badass shot.
That is a bad shot.
To see the shot go through and then just take his head
That
off
is a crazy shot.
crazy.
Bad thing to do, but
That
like,
terrible thing
crazy
to do,
shot,
but
awesome shot.
cool shot cinematically.
Yeah.
And then from there, they kind of show that, well, you just killed a spirit, so that's not great. But then the spirit starts to transform into like this evil black mass of ooze stuff.
It starts to
like
become,
oil.
It starts to become the malice
Yeah.
that's been infecting this land.
Yeah.
So
it becomes this like oil mass that just literally destroys everything.
Yeah.
Not just nature, but people. Anything that gets caught inside of it dies instantly.
Yeah. So it's the malice, and the monk guy and Lady Uboshi have trapped the head
Yes.
in a thing.
They put a head in this iron chest thing. And they start running away with it.
Yeah.
And then they get chased down by Princess Mononoke and the prince. And they essentially are like, look, you have to give this back or we all die.
Yeah. So the forest god, if you call him the deer god, the forest god or the forest spirit is after the head.
Yes.
It wants its head back. And Ashitaka and Princess Mononoke are trying to get the head back. The others are resisting or whatever. And then it comes to the final climax.
Of them, they're like, we have to give it its head back.
Yeah.
So it has to be us. It has to be people.
Everything's consumed, and like the town people, the Iron Fortress people are in the water, where the water acts as kind of like a defense against the malice. The malice can't actually infect the water. So they're all sitting in the water, and they're covered in malice. They're on this rock.
Yep.
It's very dramatic.
Yep.
And they're like, and then they're like,
and you have what, and I find it funny that I saw this in it. You have essentially the Tron scene of holding up the thing.
Yeah.
But it's instead of it being a disc, it's the head.
Yeah.
Where it's just hold the head up and raise it to the sun, or in this case the spirit, and then it gets showered by all the malice.
Yeah.
But you survive it because it got its thing back.
I love that. I love Tron. And yeah, they have to push the monk guy aside. The monk guy fights to the end, but I guess he just has to give up at a certain point.
Which he kind of does, which is actually very interesting. Unlike a lot of the other characters who were like through to the end, they have this one mindset. He's like, oh, I guess you don't always get what you want. And he kind of just gives up.
Yeah. But so they return it, and then I think, so in the aftermath, Lady Uboshi just lost her arm.
Yes.
I know that.
And during the climax, there was also, when the wolf spirit was dying, its final act was to jump out and bite off Lady Eboshi's arm. Yeah. As an act of revenge.
Yeah. And its head actually moved, right?
Yeah, it was just the head. Just the head.
The head
came out of the malice, jumped across, bit her arm off, and then ran off.
Yeah, which was crazy. That was a crazy thing to see. But,
yes.
So in the aftermath, Lady Uboshi's arm is chopped off.
Yes.
The forest kind of returned. I mean, things are destroyed, but the nature kind of
nature's slowly starting to return to the way it was.
The trees aren't fully back, but the grass is there. You get grassy trees.
You get greenery. Greenery's all over the place again.
Yeah, and then his hand is healed.
Yes.
He's back to
normal.
He's saved from that. And yeah, I think Princess Mononoke decides to stay with the wolves, I think.
Yes. Well, she decides to stay with the forest.
Right.
And he's like, I'll stay with the people and help them rebuild. You stay with the wolves and the boards and stuff and help them rebuild.
Yeah. So they're like the gap. Like she's more on the nature side, he's maybe more on the human side. I think there's the gap because they're together. And then the monk guy, I thought about this a lot at the end. He gets no consequences. Like none of the
he just runs away.
Yeah, none of the people get bad consequences, and I actually found it funny / annoying when at the end he's just like, "Well, I guess maybe I was wrong all along or whatever. And it's
Yep.
like, okay, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't. I think that's as close as that is. I can't get what I want.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, that's your punishment. You can't get what you want.
Yeah. So that was a little disheartening.
A little
I
disheartening.
kind of wanted to see.
Yeah, you kind of want to see revenge or something happen to him, like some kind of punishment.
Yeah, but also I forgot to mention throughout the movie,
Mhm.
I was definitely thinking. Well, first of all, grand scale.
Oh yeah,
Really
massive
grand
scale.
especially with the art style and stuff. And I was also getting a lot of Zelda vibes.
I can see that.
Especially with the little forest spirits, which we forgot to mention, which led them.
Oh
to
yeah, the
forest
little
spirits.
head tilt.
The Koroks. They
Yeah.
literally look like Koroks. Kind of.
Yeah,
So, or Koroks look like that, maybe.
Yes.
So that was cool.
the little head spirits. They have the knocking, clicking sound every time their head tilts.
Yeah.
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 Those were very interesting. They were like the guiding spirits, and then when the deer god falls, they all disappear, and you see one in the end, kind of like showing that the spirits are coming back.
Yeah.
That's kind of like their big symbolism thing.
Chill little guys.
Yes, just chill little dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, the movie ends with them going, well, I guess we'll live separately, but we'll be friends.
Yeah.
That's how we'll have to do it.
Which is interesting. It kind of like, are they love interests or are they just friends?
They never specify more than like I think they have interest in each other, but
Yeah.
they have to end up as friends.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they reference
Maybe
it as.
two separate worlds or something.
Yeah. The worlds apart.
I don't know. I mean, you always like to think that maybe they find some way to make
Some kind of way to make it work.
some middle ground.
Yes.
So who knows though? But that was Princess Mononoke.
That was Princess
Very
Mononoke.
adult, very green.
Very adult.
War,
battle, blood, death.
Yeah. And then the next one is also quite dark. Also has a little war in it.
Mm-hmm.
A little more modern war, a little more industrial.
Yes.
We're gonna get more into city life.
Yes.
Into airships and bombs
Yes.
and stuff.
Yes. And we will talk about Howl's Moving Castle in the next episode.
Yeah.
So with that, we thank you for watching. See you later.